Jesus said to him,
I am the way and the truth
and the life.
No one comes to the Father except through me.
But if anyone has the world's goods and sees his brother in need,
Yet closes his heart against him,
how does God's love abide in him?
little children,
let us not love in word or talk,
but in deed
and in truth.
in August of last year, we were presented with 3 opportunities to be used by God in the Dominican Republic. One was a children's orphanage, supporting it monthly. Another was building a children's worship center. And the third being purchasing a vehicle to help spread the gospel and deliver ministry teams to different opportunities in the country. We placed a vote before the God's people here at Hickory Ridge, and you guys voted to support all 3. Well, the last few weeks, we had the opportunity to see those hands-on. I want you to know it was an amazing experience to see how God is using you over there and feeding those children in the orphanage. I mean, they are wonderfully healthy and being taught about the love of Christ. The Children's Worship Center, as the team was able to put their hands on the blocks and pour the concrete and just see that worship center coming to pass. And also the vehicle, watching that truck deliver teams of ministry all over the country. I just wanted to say thank you.
I've been so involved in VBS for so many years with the different crafts and meals and planning and all that, but when you get there, it's totally different. You walk the streets, Moses, the translator, will yell through the houses and in the crowds of children and inviting them to VBS, and the kids would run to you and fight over who's going to hold your hand, and we would walk and have 30 to 40 kids following us by the time we got there. We sat down on the ground. They were taking our hats off and our ponytails out. They just loved our soft hair. They wanted to play with our hair, braid it, although it hurt, but they just loved to play with our hair. Every time we got still, they would all just crowd and fight over who would get to.
We were getting ready for an afternoon Bible school that afternoon, and there was a lot of commotion inside the gate. There was a lot of kids outside, and they could hear us, and they knew that we were right outside the gate. And I heard someone say, "Look at those children looking under the gate." So I just happened to be down there with my camera, and I captured that picture. And that picture just said it all about the kids, what they, to me, you can just see in the eyes of that child, just the longing that they have for attention and affection, and how much they wanted to interact with us. And it's not just them wanting us to give them stuff. They knew that we had stuff to give them, but I don't think that was the biggest thing, because you could just tell that they were just starving for attention, for affection. They just wanted somebody to interact with them and to love them.
When we were out witnessing, going door to door, and we were sharing Jesus with this family that was gathered on the back porch, it was a 67-year-old man and his grandsons and his wife, and he was very reluctant to accept what we were telling him about Jesus. And then the more we talked with him, he began to realize that perhaps that God had sent the rain, which had forced him and his grandsons to come in and to gather on the back porch. And when they did, the Americans showed up and told him about Jesus. So then he was willing to listen, and we prayed with him, and he accepted Christ. And after we prayed with him, he told us to hold on. He had something he wanted to show us. And so he goes in the house, and he comes back out, and he has a megaphone. And he was real excited. He was telling us that now that he knew who Jesus is, everyone around him would know, that he would tell his wife and each one of his grandsons, he would share with them who Jesus is and what he's done. And he said, "It is my responsibility to tell them what Jesus has done, and everyone will know."
A lot of us, and mostly some of the younger kids that were with our group, Tyler and Maddie and some of the college-age students, and high school students would go outside the gate and interact with the kids and play with them. And you could tell that the kids right there around the compound, how much that meant to them. And I could tell looking at our kids that were with us, how much they were getting out of it as well, interacting with them, how much they were getting blessed as well as the children that lived there. You would hand a child one of the tracts, and then a few minutes later turn around and you would see that child just sitting somewhere. They would find a rock or somewhere just sitting by themselves, and they would sit there and be reading that tract. And you could give them bracelets or you could give them a bag of candy, but to them that tract was just as precious as that bracelet or bag of candy.
Church was the main goal in this area to begin with. When the children were there, started with a small group, 30 or 40. It had grown to about 125 meeting on Sunday when the lady locked the door and said you can no longer use the building. So now you have 125 kids with no place to worship and to have Sunday school. So that's what it's going to provide. It'll be their own building, their own church that they can come and worship in, and you know, hopefully it'll just grow from there. The day we got there was nothing but a slab. There were rebar columns up on the corners and pile of blocks, pile of sand, pile of gravel out there. Our task the first day, we started loading blocks up on the slab for the masons, and the task was to get the walls going up.
A shovel never could hit the ground. You let go of that shovel and a kid run by and grab it and do the same thing we were doing, you know, tucking wheelbarrows of concrete up.
Probably 100, 200 kids, easy, that's going to be their church. The day we left, all 4 walls were up. All the concrete was poured, the form around the top, the concrete on the top was poured, which I'd never seen a building built like that before.
We look at the Children's Worship Center over there that was been worked on, and it's just so amazing that they will have somewhere that they don't have to get kicked out and leave, because they will have somewhere that every Saturday morning they will be able to worship.
If a brother or sister is naked and destitute of daily food,
and one of you says to them, "Depart in peace, be warmed and filled,"
but you do not give them the things which are needed for the body,
what does it profit?
Thus also faith by itself,
if it does not have works,
is dead.